Okay, folks. So, how did you reach the barrier with a starship? This starship, could it carry my word beyond the barrier? Yes, it could carry your word beyond the barrier, Anthony. So, um, I need a revision to this plan here. So, this is the final missing puzzle piece. So, this here, what I told you about the Einstein Rosen bridge, disregard that science, disregard that mankind. That's not how they're coming in here. So I previously described the warp drive technology using, you get the basic concept. That's the ship there, but they're riding the wave of electromagnetism of the universe at the quantum scale by matching the electricity of the quantum atoms of hydrogen, which are equivalent to, what did I say, 11 lightning bolts or 11 nuclear fusion reactors. So there's 9 here, plus there's one on the top and bottom. So that's like 11 lightning bolts. You want to think of the atoms here as being at the quantum scale 11 lightning bolts. So by matching that, we can fly through the universe. So that's how they're flying around up here now, using that type of technology. They're flying around here using primitive technology. How that works is there's electromagnetic waves that connect the black holes to each star and to galaxy to galaxy. That's the old method of travel. It's the same method of the grandfather moving the spaceship around, but he's moving it around along those waves of gravity to move from planet to planet. So in this case here, he would come down this electric wave of gravity, and then you'd fly over there and you'd stop at that Earth, and then you could visit that Earth. That's the old way to travel, using these electromagnetic waves or invisible radiation, which science calls dark energy and dark matter. Dark energy, dark matter. So that's old, obsolete technology. We're not using that no more. That's what the bad guys use. What we're using is what I just described to you previously, where the spaceship here has a large amount of electricity in it, which allows us to ride the hydrogen atoms throughout the entire universe. Because you want to think of the entire universe as being electrified at the quantum scale, and we can ride that electricity anywhere we want by grandfather moving the spaceship around wherever he wants it to move. I don't have those pictures. There's one here though. That's one. So as the spaceship is moving around, Grandpa is moving that whole entire universe around inside of the pilot. That's so the gravity doesn't kick in. So with that understanding, I've now revised the drawing. So in my Facebook story, I think I don't touch on it. In my Instagram story and my TikTok stories, you're gonna see this older stuff. So just disregard that. The stuff that I'm telling you now is how we're going to get in this universe. So you have a basic understanding of the technology. Basically, those ships can fly anywhere. And I think I made a mistake on how fast they are. I said 8 minutes. I think it might be 2 days. So from this side of the universe over to here, it takes 2 days to travel that. And that's more realistic. Because it more mirrors, Star Trek and Star Wars. You jump in a big 8 mile wide UFO like that, and it would take 2 days to get to where you're going. If you're going to the far side of the universe, it may take a day to go somewhere, but nevertheless, you get to walk around here. You could probably see the stars go by, really fast. And you look out the windows if there's windows in it, and then when you get to your destination, you're there. It takes 2 days, so the journey itself is like a destination. Then when you get to your going, you maybe spend 5 days there, and then you go to another place for 2 days. Take 2 days to drive across the entire universe again. So if we're Earth over here, we could fly over here and be there in 2 days, right? Then we could fly over here and be there maybe half a day. We could fly over here and be over here in a day, right? So this is the newer technology. So there's a barrier here between their universe and ours. This is the good universe. This is the bad universe. So those waves of electromagnetism here They no longer go through there because those waves of electromagnetism that they're so used to riding on, these ones here, they don't come into the universe. I think this is it here. So this is how we used to get around. We used to be able to go from there on that electromagnetic wave, and we could get in there simply by tuning into that frequency of the universe. There's a specific frequency that this universe has. It's like a car dial. You just turn it to the radio station, and you can fly in there on that wave of electromagnetism right there. So this is our universe. This is theirs. So I theorized that we could ride that wave in here, but we can't because they've infected it. The bad grandmother and the bad grandfather, they still have control of it. This is a representation of them here. So this is the Milky Way. So those waves of gravity between the star and there, all of those are evil. In order to harness those waves, your mother and I, we need to lose weight, build muscle, and we need to have technology to reverse age me, because what I've done is I've put on some muscle in my body, and that muscle was the fibers. Like when you tear the fiber apart and then rebuild it, there's evil spirits that have created muscle tissue in my body. So the complexities involved in trying to get rid of those evil spirits in my muscle means I have to have our technology, which only can be done by good people, which is these UFOs, because they have medical bed technology, which they're going to go back to when I first started lifting weights. I started lifting weights at 13. So they need to go back, analyze my DNA at a time when I was 13, which is quite an extensive process. Basically, my DNA is still floating around in the air here. They'd find an old skin tissue from when I was 13. And then they would analyze that 13-year-old, or 12, when I was 12 probably. And they would co-mix it with the time when I was 22 years old. So they'd co-mingle my DNA from a 13-year-old, 12-year-old Anthony before I lifted weights with a 22-year-old Anthony. And they would bring me back. They would scan this body on one medical bed. I'd go over to the other medical bed. On the other medical bed, I'd wake up as a 22-year-old without evil muscle tissue. So then the process would have to be me working out to build new muscle tissue with good, how I'm pure inside. So the muscle that I built then, that'd be created by grandma and grandpa, the good spirits up here. And that's what I would need to take over these electromagnetic waves. It would put these ones to sleep, and mother would have to do the same. So we'd have to lift weights, run, eat healthy, be really good, lead a really good upstanding life. And then these ones would fall asleep. And then we'd have control of those electromagnetic waves. So it's quite the extensive process. But because I'm cut for time and she's going to get pregnant on the 13th, I need a plan. And I've been trying to get the bad guys to do the right thing and come home and say, okay, we're here. Here's your UFOs. We want to come back home and live forever. But they don't want to. They keep rolling their dice, keep testing my limits. And now I've gone beyond my limits. Now, if I don't get what I want on September 7th on my mother's birthday at 7 a.m., which is UFOs, these UFOs are designed as war machines. These things have railguns on them that are, designed for a war in the Milky Way, in this evil universe we live in. So the new theory, and this is the correct one, is you know how the technology works because you watched the previous videos. So they're gonna use this where's this here. So in this universe here, though, that little spaceship will ride that wave of electromagnetism of the hydrogen atoms until it gets to the edge of the universe here. Once it gets there, it needs to turn on the engines, right? All right, here, these engines. So it needs to fly through the molecules of the universe. That's what that is. It's a gold molecule. If you flew to the edge of the universe, it'd be one big giant molecule. You'd see it. It'd all be interlinked. The molecules would be interlinked here and interlinked here and interlinked down here. So there's interlinking of molecules there. So to cross that barrier requires these engines, right? These hydrogen, oxygen powered engines, rockets, ion plasma, plasma thrust, rocket, ion laser plasma. I mentioned that before. This creates a rocket fuel or rocket thrust, which is superheated with ions and then superheated again with lasers. And then the final stage is plasma. Science, when you mix all of these together, you get a really good thrust. That's the engine that they're using. So it will allow that big spaceship right there. That thing there is gonna come from this universe here. See it there? That's it there. There's there. Turn on those thrusters right here. Turn on that thruster. It'll fly in between the molecules. That's it there. So it'll fly between the molecules. That's the thruster flying between the molecules. That's it there. And once it's in this universe here, it could shut off those engines. So it shuts off the engines. That's in a particular scene from a movie. It talks about shrinking between the molecules. So they're not shrinking. It just means that they're going to fly between the molecules to get into this bad universe. So once they're in here, because I've done the purification inside of my body, the atoms in my body, like the proton and electron, those are pure because those are mine, and I've purified myself of sin. So every hydrogen atom in the universe is now pure. These electric waves and these black holes, those are impure. But the gas in here is pure. So these guys can still fly around on these electromagnetic waves using their technology. So the spaceship here, you want to think of this here as being like a car. So imagine the hydrogen in the universe that it's sucking into here. The power of that spaceship is being like regular gasoline. Right? So it doesn't matter whether the hydrogen is good or bad. So right now that ship is running on a premium hydrogen because it's a 100% pure hydrogen. Whereas before I started this vision quest and I was, impure, that machine was running on, regular gas, like evil hydrogen. So this universe had evil hydrogen in it, and the spaceships are running on regular fuel. But now the spaceships are basically running on premium fuel or good hydrogen because I've purified all the hydrogen atoms in this universe, which is going to allow these spaceships to enter here from their universe. So once they get in here, it's the same process of speeding that ship up. It should take them 2 days to get over here, and they're already on their way. Like I told them I want them here on the 7th, which means they have to leave on the 5th. So once they're in the universe here, when they leave on the 5th, they'll be here on the 7th. I've told them I want them here at 10 a.m. on my mom's birthday because these other guys, they're not going to do what I want them to do. So it'll take them 2 days after they're in this universe, they cross the barrier to fly all their spaceships over to here, to Earth. And on September 7th at 10 o'clock in the morning, that's when you're going to see my UFOs come here, and that's going to be the day the Earth stood still. I'll finally be able to break out of this prison because I'll have my backup here. Nobody will be able to hurt me. And we'll see how it plays out. So this is the real story of how they're going to come here. I wasn't sure, but this is the missing puzzle piece in my book. This one here, this one is just, this one, it's obsolete. That's not how they're coming in here. Because they can't come in here because these electromagnetic wave, it stops here. And then here, this one stops. It's like this electricity is supposed to go back and forth, but it doesn't. It just stops here and that stops there. You can't get across. The only way to get across is using what I just showed you, those big spaceships. Right there with the thruster engine. Fly between the molecules to get into this universe here. So, what's today's date? Today's the 3rd. So, they won't be leaving probably till, I'd say tomorrow. So, they'll be in this universe tomorrow probably and on their way over here. And they'll probably just sit around out by the edge of the universe, waiting for 10 o'clock to roll around to see if these guys come or not. So, one of two things is going to happen. The bad guys will show up in the morning because they finally realize that, if they don't fold their cards, they're not going to come to eternity with us. And that's what grandmother wants. Grandmother wants this to end peacefully so that everyone gets to come to paradise. Everyone gets forgiven. And everyone gets to come to paradise. That's what she wants. That's not what I want because I've been stabbed in the back and disrespected too many times. And I'm sick of it. If I don't get what I want, these things with their railguns is going to start a war. And that's what I want. I want that war. I don't want them here because I don't like them. They're evil people who done bad things to me over the past 10 lives, and now it's my turn. It's my turn now, Milky Way. So get ready. You don't want to, you want to continue to gamble? Go ahead, gamble. See where it gets you on my mother's birthday.